for a successful grassroots movement, visionary leadership, perseverance, and a strong ability to network. Tonight, I'm excited to present my icebreaker focused on the power of inclusion. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. For years, I've been passionate about politics, whether it was watching election night coverage or working on political campaigns. In 2013, I moved from California to New York City in the hopes of realizing my dreams of working in Democratic Party politics. On the side, I enjoy being involved in groups and initiatives that align with my progressive ideals. While I was meeting with people in order to see how I can be involved, I remember one person telling me, do not get involved with those socialists. Key number one to a successful grassroots movement: visionary leadership. It was from that moment on, I knew things needed to change. It was as if I had already been outcasted and labeled from the beginning, before I was even able to step foot on the local scene. To me, change looked like empowering and recruiting people to run for local office who otherwise felt left out on the sidelines or outcasted, such as myself. Key number two to a successful grassroots movement: networking. I knew I could not do this on my own, and I needed all the help I can get. So I embarked on a journey all across Queens in order to find and recruit the best community organizers I could find. As our movement grew and became more popular, we eventually decided to form a group. Shortly after forming the group, we heard about a local candidate running for Congress, challenging our local party boss. That candidate was named Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC. It was at that moment I felt like I had reached the pinnacle of my organizing experience. I had literally started this movement and journey by meeting with people over one-on-one meetings over coffee, begging them and persuading them as best I could just to get a handful of maybes, a lot of no's, and maybe one or two yeses that they'll join me. So after we decided we wanted to meet with AOC in order to learn more about her and her campaign and share more about our vision for transforming and radicalizing and rebuilding local politics as it's been seen in Queens for years. After a meeting with AOC, I began volunteering on our campaign. And it was a few months after volunteering, I was offered a position, a full-time position. While on our campaign, I was not only able to meet and tap into our network of volunteers and staff members to recruit them for these low-level party positions. It was during that time a film documentary crew from Netflix was documenting our campaign from the beginning. If you've seen this documentary, you've seen my 15 minutes of fame along with many of my friends that were featured in that documentary. While I was not, many of my friends, it was shortly after that, while election day approached, many of our candidates that we recruited to run for these low-level positions began experiencing technicalities and errors trying to get on the ballot. We had recruited over 140 people to run for these low-level positions, and over 50 people had committed to actually running. My last and final point is to have a strong perseverance. It was through our perseverance and our motivation that we decided these injustices would not stand. Many of our candidates were experiencing these technicalities and errors because they were purposefully designed in order to keep grassroots candidates off the ballot and out of the democratic process. So it was through that motivation and through that determination, we decided to take the Board of Elections to court. Our case ended up in the state Supreme Court, but unfortunately our case ended up in a stalemate we won one case, and the Board of Elections won one case. Shortly after that, a reporter for the New York Times heard about our story. He thought it was interesting enough to write not one, but two articles on our case, both in print and online. Shortly after our article was published, many local media outlets all across the city thought our story was also interesting enough to write articles on our case. While I was not in this journey to write or for the media attention, I was in it to write to empower and activate many local activists all across Queens and across the city as well. That is exactly what happened. With these three key tenets, visionary leadership, perseverance, and a strong ability to network, I strongly believe that you too can create change in your community, in yourselves, and whatever it is that you're passionate about. Thank you.
May you unmute muted?
Sorry, thank you, Sahanda, for the great icebreaker. Let's have 1 minute to give Sahanda feedback. So timer, please help us to pin 1 minute. Thank you.